गलद्दानगण्डं मिलद्भृङ्गखण्डं चलच्चारशून्यं जगत्त्राणशौण्डं लसद्दन्तकाण्डं विपद्भङ्गचण्डं शिवप्रेमपिण्डं भजे वक्रतुण्डम्। अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुर्व्याप्य सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां सदा मे समत्वं न मुक्तिर्न बन्धः चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ। We'll do a 2 minute of chanting of the mantra which I'm going to talk about. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। I bow at the lotus feet of Prabhu Shri Ramachandra, as well as my Sadguru, Param Pujya Dr. Shri Krishna Dattatreya Deshmukh, who we fondly call as Dr. Kaka, and Param Pujya Mandate Gandhi. I also bow to the divinity within all of you. I would like to begin my discourse by first of all thanking Hari Temple. Fortunate to have the executive committee here like it was mentioned just before that, what other venue could have been the best one for this kind of topic? ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So all of us are fortunate enough to be gathered here in this Mangal, Pavitra, pious, whatever you want to call, temple where there is Bhagwan ShreeRam's Adhishthan. I'm going to use some words because I see all Indians here. So I don't have to translate every single word. I'm sure all of you understand what Adhishthan means. So again, really thanks to the temple, all the people who are associated with it. When I came here, I didn't know that I'm going to visit one of such an old temple in United States of America, second oldest temple, celebrating 50th year this year. So congratulations to all those who are giving their time and energy to do this dharmika karya. So congratulations, as well as thank you to the EC team and Hari Temple, as well as Vikram Dada, who was instrumental in making this program happen. Having said that, let's for next maybe, I don't know, time given to me, but around 45-50 minutes, we'll try to understand what ShreeRam, Jai Jai Ram mean, ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram mean basically. Not that we never heard this, not that we don't know anything about it. Of course we know. We are praising Lord Ram. Of course, I mean that is the straightforward meaning. But what is the deeper meaning? And the moment we say deeper meaning, it is called, because I'm forced to speak in this language, it's called contemplation. But it's basically called Chintan. In Marathi, in Sanskrit, maybe in Gujarati language also, it's called Chintan. Again, just like that mantra, we are not new to contemplation, right? That's what we do. We contemplate all the time. But the subject of the contemplation differentiate between Chinta and the Chintan. Contemplation is still the same. I am contemplating, or in plain simple terms, if I'm thinking basically all the time about me and mine. देहाचा विचार केला की त्याला चिंता म्हणतात, देवाचा विचार केला की त्याला चिंतन म्हणतात. Marathi, plain simple terms. If I may have to put this in English, if you contemplate on God, it is called Chintan, and opposite of God becomes DOG, dog, which is a kind of a metaphoric thing, representative of the world around us. The moment we start thinking about dog, means me and mine, it becomes Chinta. And all of us are very familiar with doing Chinta all the time, of course. And the very fact that we have to do Chinta is because we never did Chinta. So, let's contemplate on that for a moment. Second thing, as I said, the title, the subject is ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Maybe one of you might have even thought about it, like, why to have a speech about Namasmaran? Why not have a Namasmaran itself? Like, let's gather people, 30 minutes, 1 hour, let's do the chanting, the Namasmaran. Why do we need to talk about it? That maybe would have been a question in somebody's mind. Well, of course, I mean, chanting, Namasmaran, we do all the time, but why should we talk about it? There is a very good verse from Jnaneshwari, Bhavartha Dipika. I know about Marathi people, but do you guys know about Jnaneshwari? Heard about it? No, okay. A very famous commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Jnaneshwar Maharaj, yeah, Alandi from Maharashtra, okay. So there is a very good verse, Ovi Yete, Jnaneshwari Madhe. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, Krishna Vishnu Hari Govind या नामाचे निखिल प्रबंध माझी आत्मचर्चा विशद उदंड गाती. So essentially Naneshwar Maharaj is explaining a characteristic of a bhakta, a true bhakta, what he does or she does. Krishna, Vishnu, Hari, Govinda. Namasmaran, chanting. Krishna, Vishnu, Hari, Govinda, Ram, Shiva, whatever your deity you are worshipping, right? Ya namache nikhil prabandha. Prabandha basically means one thing after other, one thing after other. Like for example, to give you an example, the garland, right? Garland is called a prabandha because there is a flower followed by a flower, followed by a flower, prabandha. So that's how we chant the name. We say the same name, right? One after the other. So Naneshwar Maharaj is saying, Krishna, Vishnu, Hari, Govinda, Ya Namase Nikhila Prabandha, which is, of course, all of us understand. Of course, all of us associate this with a bhakta, but we forget the second word, second sentence of the verse called Maji Atma Charcha Vishada Udanda Gati. And Atma Charcha is nothing but the deep contemplation I'm talking about. Deep contemplation. And even why, like for example, I will pose some questions here, right? Why do we do Namasmara? Simple question. And people get startled at that question, especially people who belong to your and my generation, because all we know is we are supposed to do it. It is a good thing to do. It is a good thing to recite Lord's name. It is a good thing to remember Bhagavan, Lord, Vishnu, Rama, whatever. But imagine if your son or daughter, the new generation, if they ask you, it's good, I know, but like, why do you do it? Like, what do you mean by good? Define, why do you think it is good? Or if we try to convey the same message to the next generation, if they ask, sometimes we force them, chalo mandir chalo, Diwali ke din hai, darshan karke aate. If your son or daughter asks you, but why? You don't have a good answer to that question. Why? Because we never contemplated on it. We never thought about it, that even if I am doing the Namasmaran, why I am doing the Namasmaran, why I am doing the chanting, why I am saying ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Om Namah Shivaya, or Digambara, Digambara, doesn't matter, these are all chanting mantras. So essentially I am hinting at what is the objective of Namasmaran. What is supposed to happen if I do it right? We don't know answer to these simple questions. When we say Namasmarana, that very word is very interesting. Why? Because Smarana means remembrance, right? And we have to remember ourselves about something that we have forgotten. That's simple, right? We set all these reminders on our phones these days, or we ask someone else, hey, remind me tomorrow, 9 a.m. I have to do this. Because there is a guarantee that I am going to forget about it. Like, imagine if anybody arrange a talk and say, hey, let's come here, let's gather together. We are going to think about chinta karna hai sab milke. How does it sound? I just explained the definition of chinta. Thinking about me and mine. The entire materialistic world around mine. My job, my wife, my kids, my promotion, my car, maybe my community. All these things. And you found it funny, right? Of course, because nobody gathered together. चिंता करने के लिए कोई नहीं आता, क्योंकि चिंता तो हम सबको आती है करने, चिंतन नहीं आता. So why do we do it? The topic was, why do we do Namasmaran? Let's get that first out of our way and then I'll come to the main topic. The objective, there is, when we say Nama, there is a Nami. I have to use some maybe Sanskrit Marathi words. But in plain English, the Nami basically means the very deity I am chanting the name about. So ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Who is the Nami? Very simple, ShreeRam. But the problem comes when I think he is the only ShreeRam. Okay, it's a bit difficult, but I'll try to explain. I will ask you another simple question. Is there a Wi-Fi here? I mean, you see, members must be wondering, like, typically people, first question they ask, God word सब बाद में, देव सब भगवान बाद में, पहले Wi-Fi क्या है, password क्या है? Now, he even said, yes, there is a Wi-Fi. Now my question is, where is it? Like, I'm looking up and down, left, right. I don't see the Wi-Fi. You know where I'm headed with this. And I see here, oh, there is a Wi-Fi. Yes. God is everywhere. I am not capable to experience it, the God that is omnipresent and omniscient. So for me, that is a symbol of Wi-Fi. It is formless, it is attributeless. It can't be described in words. No iti, even Vedas couldn't describe it. So it is a very extremely difficult thing to fathom that kind of a concept which is beyond human mind, which is beyond human comprehension. So thankfully, the same God, he took such a beautiful roop called Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, etc. Now things have suddenly become easier for me. Now I can see him, I can worship him, I can do puja, मैं भोग चढ़ा सकता हूँ. There are a lot of things we do, of course. We are supposed to. The point I am trying to make, but the true nature of Rama, which we are going to talk about anyway, about 3 Rams, is this Nirguna, Nirakara, Nirvaya, Sadghana, Chidghana, Anandagana, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. That's called AtmaRam. And I have forgotten about the AtmaRam that exists in my heart, in everybody's heart. It obviously exists everywhere. There is no place that it doesn't exist. But the only place to experience AtmaRam is in my heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam ruddesherjuna tishtati. Bhagavad Gita, talking to us. So, coming back to my point, we do namasmarana, we do recite the name to become one, to have a union with the Nami. And the Nami is the Brahmarupa ShreeRam. We can't become one with Saguna. And I have forgotten about it, that's why I have to keep reminding myself. That should be the dharana in my heart, in my mind when I'm doing actually chanting. Otherwise, not thousands, millions of people do chanting, but they don't see the benefit. Why? Because their mind is always wandering outside. They don't know why they're chanting. They don't know what is supposed to happen. So that is called Ajnana Vaida. I'm obviously talking about Ajnana. Forgetting who am I, the true nature of me. तैसा हृदयामध्ये भी रामो असता सर्व सुखाचा आरामो की भ्रांतासी कामो विषयावरी. Mangesh Maharaj. And he also defines what Ajnana means. Ajnana, a very specific definition. See, my problem sometimes is when I'm talking, I'm giving these spiritual discourses, there is a who's who sitting in the audience. You understand who's who? I don't have to explain that, right? And they're all great people, of course, They are very brilliant, they are genius, they are very accomplished, they are billionaire, they are millionaire. And the moment I say Ajnana, everybody, they don't say they are all nice people, but they are in mind, they're thinking, okay, let's see what he says about Ajnana. He thinks we are Ajnani? Do you even know my credentials? Do you know about my academic performance? Do you know I'm a Harvard graduate, etc., etc.? But that's not the definition of Ajnani anyway. So what is the definition? Apula apanapeya visaruzo dhananjaya techi rupa yaya ajnanesi. Mauli says. Again, there is a definition given. Apula apanapeya. Forgetting about my own true nature, the absolute bliss, the absolute existence, the absolute knowledge. Sadghana, Chidghana, Anandagana. And what is the criteria that I have forgotten about it? The moment I think I am the body, the moment I think I am the doer, my karta hu, the moment I think this world around me is real, I am again. And this is not who I am saying, it's Mangesh Maharaj who is saying. So now where is your degree? Where is your success? Where is your fame? I jokingly, I think 2 days ago I said, even by this definition, even Einstein is Ajnani. Absolutely. Because this is the definition. He is Ajnani. Just to make my point. And since when? Since when we are Ajnani, by the way? Next question comes like, when I was born, was I Jnani? Or maybe not in this birth, maybe in the last birth. Like, when did this mishap happen, the accident happen, that I became Ajnani? Bhagavad Gita, Lord answered that question. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. That's the answer. Sarga. Sarga in Sanskrit basically means the beginning. So it can have two meanings. The beginning of the world, the beginning of the universe, Big Bang, or the beginning of my own life when I was born, the very moment I was born. So Lord is saying, Ichha dvesha samuttena. Because of this combination of these two things, Ichha and dvesh, raga and dvesh, asakti and dvesh, attachment and aversion. Ichha dvesha samuttena, dvandva mohena bharata. Sarvabhutani sammoha. कोई छूटा नहीं है उसमें से, कोई नहीं, not a single person. Those who are not part of this, what do you say, club, are called avatars. That's why all of us are born, but we were forced to be born. We didn't have a choice. I always ask that question. Did anyone ask you? Do you want to get birth? Do you want to be a female or male? Do you want to be born in this family or that family? Today, tomorrow, day after? No, no choice. That's called choiceless existence. That's called karma vigraha. And what is standing there is called leela vigraha. Oh, unki leela hai. They came here by design, by choice. They decided when to come, where to come, what to do. That's called leela basically. So my point, right from Sarga, and we can think about Sarga, because if you think about Sarga as the beginning of the universe, that's also no problem, because if we keep taking birth after birth after birth, and there will come one day when this universe will end, we know, then there comes a logical question, because all of us are intellectuals, right? We think, okay, what happens if I keep taking births, and the last day of the universe, I'll be free, liberated? Lord says no. No, there is a special arrangement made for all those living beings who are not liberated by the time. They are kept in a space, in a special place called Avyakta. And Lord's power, Maya, that is called Pradhana Shakti at that time, because Pradhana means Prakarshani Sambhana, Dhana manje Thevane, and Pra manje Prakarshani, Asa Thevane, to protect it in such a way that nobody can destroy it, not a single jiva can escape its own karma. So point is, we have been Ajnani forever. म्हणून त्याला अज्ञान हे अनादि आहे असं म्हणतात. So next question is, can we not escape from this? Of course, that is welcome to today's topic called ShreeRam, Jai Ram. And that is what I was trying to explain. The whole objective of Namasmaran is to become one, union with Brahmarupa Rama, because that is my very nature. All of us are, but we don't know that, we don't experience it today, and this is called Ajnana. So I will talk about only two topics, maybe another 10-15 minutes, and then we'll stop. It was 45-50 minutes, and then if you have any questions, happy to take any questions. So ShreeRam, Jai Ram. We understood in the first part of my speech why to do Namasmaran. How to do it, all of us know. It's not a very difficult thing to say like a Gayatri mantra or some other mantra. That's a difference, by the way, between mantra and the Nama. I don't want to get into that topic. But there are three Rams: ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Ram. Now, another, again, contemplation. Are there really three Ram? Ram is one. Then why three? I have three kinds of relationship with Rama. That's why three. And we can think about it as three different kinds, or we can think about it at three different levels. I am associated with Rama. And I kind of briefly touch upon it already. But we will go in a little bit further detail. So the first Rama is the Saguna Rama, Prabhu ShreeRam. The moment we say Prabhu ShreeRam, the one that comes to our mind is the first Rama, who was the son of King Dasharatha, whose Leela are called Ramayana. It's called Ramayana. So that is the first Ram, King Ram, who went into exile for 14 years. And all those things, we know the lot of stories about it. The problem is, we learned all those stories during our childhood. We were probably a fortunate generation we were born in India, we spent our childhood in India. So we were fortunate enough to have a lot of temples around, a lot of elderly people around, right? Our grandfather, grandmother, maybe our own mother, father, who probably shared some of these beautiful stories with us. I don't know whether I should go into that detail, but I'll just briefly mention a thought that just came to my mind because of this topic is probably our kids are grown up now. Probably some of you have now grandchildren, but if possible, please make sure that they get to hear all the stories. Ramayana and Mahabharata. Shivaji Maharaj was born because Jijamata, she shaped him with all these stories full of all the good virtues we know about. Anyway, I'll come back to my topic. So Prabhu ShreeRam, we are chanting his name, we are saying ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sometimes people have that mala in their hand, right? They do the japa with mala. But the problem is the mala, we go with that one bead at a time. The tongue is moving in my mouth and my mind is moving all over the world. As usual, same problem everybody faces. When I say this, pretty much 99% they say, yes, you are absolutely right. Because all of us have the same problem. Why I suddenly said about it? Because I do not think enough about the first Ram. A simple thing. I talked about Chinta first and now we are doing Chinta. Why didn't we go to any college or school to learn how to do Chinta? We don't have to. I'm so attached to things around me, including my body, my mind, my intellect, my accomplishments, etc., that I'm so attached that it's like the superlative degree of love. So now apply the same logic. I don't have enough love for Lord Ram. Why? Because the stories I heard in childhood are not enough right now. They were necessary during those times, but are not sufficient for today's age of mine and yours to develop that kind of love. And the solution? Solution is to read the life stories. I mean, the problem is most of the time none of us have read the original text of Ramayana because of course it's in Sanskrit, but fortunately the translation is available in Marathi, in English, different languages, it's available. But we never went to that length to understand our own culture, our own history, our own Dharma, because Prabhu ShreeRam is Dharma, all dharmic values personified. To the extent that if someone follows the dharmic principles to the heart, we call that person, in fact, a very noble person. We even touch their feet, a very dharmic person. But then there are Prabhu ShreeRam, whose life experiences and the way he behaved in a certain situation has been documented as rules of Dharma. That is Prabhu ShreeRam. All great moral values personified. And I'm not only talking about Prabhu ShreeRam. Why I insisted that we should be reading original Ramayana text is you take any personality. You talk about Lakshman, you talk about Bharat, you talk about Bhagavati, Janaki, you talk about Lakshman's wife, Bharat's wife. Have you ever, even for a moment, have you ever thought about this? Think about it for a moment. Lakshman went with Rama in the exile, we know. He was along with him, So obviously his wife was in the palace, right? But think about Bharat. Bharat was in Nandigram. Nandigram is only few kilometers from Ayodhya. And Param Pujya Swami Govindadev Giriji Maharaj, he very rightfully called him a trustee of a kingdom called Ayodhya. Nyasi. Trustee. And the job of a trustee is to ensure the security of the trust. In this case, Ayodhya kingdom. So we know all the stories. He never sat on the throne. He put, Lord Rama's Paduka and all that. But I'm narrating his life story. His wife is few kilometers away, did not meet in 12-14 years. Have you ever thought about the tyag all these people have done? Why Ramayana? Why it is one of the greatest treasure of the world, not only India. We, of course, all of us are, proud about it because we think it is our heritage. But no, it is a world heritage because I'm telling you all the good qualities of any human being we can imagine, and you take it to the superlative degree. That is all these characters from Ramayana. I don't even have to mention Raja Harishchandra and Raja, all the lineage of Prabhu before Prabhu Shri Ram. I'll narrate one small story. When Swami Vivekananda came to this country and he was giving some speech somewhere, and I think after the speech, one of the person from the audience stood up because he talked about Raja Harishchandra. And he said, they don't have any baggage, right? They don't care, rather. They're blunt. They say, Swamiji, the story you narrated, it sounds like a very conceptual story. We don't think there can be really any human being who can do all these things. Swamiji replied very beautifully. Swamiji said, okay, let's take your argument as the true argument for a moment. But the question arises, is there any other culture in the world, or the country in the world, or the Dharma in the world who thought about such a lofty ideal? Is there any? No. Point I'm trying to make? Lord Rama. So once we study the Ramayana adequately enough, once we start appreciating the high moral values, ये जो उच्च भूमिका होती है त्याग करने की, I mean, I'm telling you, every single character, you'll be in tears. If you don't have time to read Ramayana, I'll suggest one book today by Swami Govindadev Giriji Maharaj. The title of the book is ShreeRam Kathamrut, available in Marathi and Hindi. I don't know if it's also available in English, but for sure Marathi and Hindi. And I challenge wherever I go, read that. It's a 600-page book. It's kind of a summary of Ramayana, but Valmiki Ramayana. And I challenge everybody, till you reach the last page, if you are not in tears, give me a call, take down my number. Take down my number. You will be in tears because we can't even imagine the kind of life all of these lofty characters have lived thousands of years ago in our motherland called Bharat. Why I'm saying all these things? When I do that, suddenly the same Ram starts becoming personal for me. I feel for him. I feel love for him. I feel love for Bhagavati Janaki. I feel for her because she has gone through so much. I feel for Lord Rama, who had to a king had to let her wife leave the kingdom. I read that book, I'm saying it explains very well. A husband never relinquished his wife. It is the king who relinquished the queen. Why? Again, to uphold those moral values of duty, kartavya. There is, in Ramayana, there is a mention that Prabhu Lord ShreeRam never smiled after that. Why I am saying all these things? Generation asks these kind of questions. All these atheists, I have met a couple of young kids, they're like, oh, that's ShreeRam who left his wife. Do you understand what really happened? त्रेता युग की बात है, उनकी जो धारणाएं थी उनकी तो हम कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकते आज. Point? Like I have a love for all these external things, materialistic world, when I start developing a true love for Lord ShreeRam, then I don't need listen to any other lecture that you should be focusing on the Nama you are reciting. No, it automatically happens because now I know whose name I am reciting. I fully surrender. I fully surrender. And that's why the life stories are called Leelas of Bhagavan, and they are so important for all of us. And we must be reading it, and we should be drawing our own conclusions. Our heart starts melting, which has kind of hardened right now because of what we think are the realities of life. Coming to the second Ram, the second Ram is called Ishvara Rupa Ram. So first one was Saguna Sakara. Obviously he is not available to us right now because he was there thousands of years ago in Treta Yuga. But today what we have is his idol. But a true Bhakta says, no, this is Ram, period. That's the Bhakti. For me, it is an idol. So I know, this is gold, this is made of gold, this is made of silver, this is made of Sangamara. No, that's not an idol. It's Prabhu Shri Ram standing in front of me. That bhav has to be there. Because as I said, God is everywhere. He took this beautiful form just for my benefit. So I should benefit from it. But talking about love, Ishvara Rupa Rama. So this one is Saguna Sakara, with form, with attribute. The next one is Ishvara Rupa Rama, which is Saguna Nirakar. Saguna Nirakar. You never see Ishvara. You never realize Ishvara. You never experience Ishvara. Ishvara ke kabhi darshan nahi hote hai. You might be shocked at this sentence, but the definition of Ishvara here is Saguna Nirakar. जिसके दर्शन होते हैं उन्हें सगुण साकार कहते हैं. भगवान तो किसी का भी रूप ले सकते हैं. He can appear as anybody. That's how Narasimha avatar we know. Because he is everywhere. He is omnipotent. He is omniscient. He can take any form and any shape at any given moment, anywhere in the world. In fact, that is how different, by the way, deities are born. Like for example, you talk about Dattatreya. Bhagavan Dattatreya, sometimes you see with 2 hands, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes 8. Where does it come from? Well, Dasbodh explains that somebody worshipped Bhagavan Dattatreya in that particular shape and form, and because of his true worship, Bhagavan appeared in the form he or she visualized. And then they later on draw the picture or ask somebody to draw a picture. They explain how I saw God, how he looked, or maybe create an idol. That's how different, for the lack of better word, versions of the same deity you see everywhere. But Ishvara Rupa Ram, my point I was trying to make. So then what is my relationship with Ishvara Rupa Ram? So the relationship with Ishvara Rupa Ram is to follow what he is asking me to follow or asking me to do. Now question, how do I know? Well, the very first commands he has given is called Upanishads or Veda, because Veda are called Ishvarache Nishvasita. It's the manual of the world. It was delivered when this universe was born. This is why it is called Apaurusheya. It is not a product of human mind. And that's why it is eternal. That's why there are no flaws. That's why there is no version management. Have you ever heard about Veda 2.0 or Veda 2.0? Which all of us are so used to. Because the work we do, the work we produce, which is the product of a human mind, is full of flaws. And that's why there has to be a version 2.0. It is better than 1.0. But is there Bhagavad Gita 4.0? Have you ever heard? No. It's eternal knowledge. So I was coming to Bhagavad Gita anyway, because Upanishads, Ishvarache Nishvasita, Upanishad has lot of do's and don'ts, but there are more do's and don'ts in Bhagavad Gita. And again, in Bhagavad Gita, another point, side note, because I teach this class to kids, young kids, I ask them, so do you know Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between whom? They raise their hand. I know. Shri Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, I said, correct, you are right. So is there anywhere called Shri Krishna Vacha in Bhagavad Gita? This is Bhagavan Uvacha. Then those kids are like puzzled. Say, yeah, of course. Both the answers are right, but Bhagavan, Gopala Shri Krishna was in the role of a Bhagavan when he was guiding Arjuna. That's why this is Bhagavan Uvacha. But in that avatar, he was Gopala Krishna. But originally Saguna Nirakar, originally Nirguna Nirakar, but the moment we accept Maya, it becomes Ishvara. It is called Saguna Brahma in Vedantic terminology. So Ishvara Rupa Ram, he has given a lot of do's and don'ts. Bhagavad Gita says, for example, I'll just give you one example in the interest of time. Karman neva dhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. If one verse which is most popular in the world everybody knows is this, and the one verse everybody ignores is this. So imagine I am ignoring what he is asking me to do and I am still chanting his name. How does it sound? How does it sound? If somebody comes and touch your feet, obviously you feel good, right? You feel good about that person also. But if you ask something, if you ask that person to do something, because you think he has a respect for you, and if he completely ignores you, how will you feel? That's exactly how Lord feels. Vidhi nishedha, त्याला विधी निषेध असं म्हणतात. विधी ते पाळित, निषेधा ते गाळित, मज देऊनी जाळीत कर्म पडे. माऊली बोलते, ज्ञानेश्वर. I don't do any of this and I still chant his name and I expect that Lord should appear in front of me. भगवान के दर्शन हो जाए. कैसे होंगे? Because I have broken my relationship with Ishvara Rupa Ram is broken. And the third is Brahma Rupa Ram, which I already kind of briefly touched upon. Brahma Rupa Ram is really who we are. And that is the Ram we have a union with. That is the Ram. Eko Devaha Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha. Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutantaratma. Shatashvatra Upanishad is talking. Eko Devaha. So my point is, Eko Deva basically means the AtmaRam in your heart and AtmaRam in my heart is not different. God is only one, period. We are separate and different. As a Jiva, we are different. But God within our heart is the same. He is not similar, same. Why? Because there is only one God. Brahma Rupa Ram. Eko Deva, Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha. Good इसलिए बोला गया है कि we can't experience it so easily. Good है, हमारे लिए good है. Yeah, it's my true nature, but I have not experienced it. Good. So that is Brahma Rupa Ram. And last point, one question which I will raise, maybe it might have come to your mind, that all these things I just said in the last 30-40 minutes, yeah, we got it. But why so much insistence on union with Brahma Rupa Ram? What happens? A rebellious question. What happens if I don't do all this? What happens if I don't chant? Whatever you explained is fine. But what do I miss in life if I don't chant his name and become one with him, basically? The oneness, Advaita I'm talking about. Well, everything else I'm doing is the only objective of every single action and every single thought of every single living being, not only humans also, every single human living being on this planet is for the happiness. I don't have time to go in depth in this topic right now. It's a beautiful topic. It's a topic in itself to talk for 1 hour. But happiness, everybody, every single organism is seeking happiness. But the problem is, happiness doesn't come alone. It comes with unhappiness. Happy and unhappy are the two sides of the coin. The moment you say I want to be happy, you have to also accept the sorrow. But what if I don't want the sorrow, but I just want only happiness and forever? Well, welcome to Upanishad, welcome to Bhagavad Gita, welcome to chanting. That is called as the bliss. Because I am speaking in English, the word that comes close enough is called bliss. What is the difference between happiness and bliss? Well, happiness is always dependent on something and somebody. If my wife behaves according to I want her, I am happy. If my kids get an admission in good college, I am happy. If I get my startup becomes $1 billion startup, I am happy. So it's always if, then, but, else. Bliss is not like that. Bliss is independent of anything. No matter what is happening around me, I am always in the blissful state, which is called samadhi. Point I'm trying to make? The reason I chant is to realize my true nature, which is the AtmaRam, the Brahmaruparam, and the reason to do that also is the very nature of Brahmaruparam is the bliss, absolute bliss, absolute existence, nirapeksha astitva, nirapeksha jnana, jnatru-jnaya vihina nusadechi jeka jnana. Mauli bolte. There is no triad, there is no triputi. I'm not talking about the jnana as an information, where कोणाला ज्ञान झालं आणि कशाचं ज्ञान झालं. Unless and until I answer you these three questions. Who is the knower? What is the subject? And the very act of knowing, that triad doesn't exist. There is no knower, there is no subject, but still there is something called as knowledge. It's called absolute knowledge. त्याला चित असं म्हणतात. त्याला चित घन असं म्हणतात. त्यालाच सद घन, त्यालाच आनंद घन, त्यालाच ब्रह्मरूप राम. So, to summarize, I want to be in union with Brahmarupa Ram because the Ram is the embodiment of bliss. And isn't that what all of us are seeking? But we got a wrong address. We are seeking it outside. And we should be seeking it within. And to go within, the medium to go within, the method to go within is ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. One last point and then I'll stop. Really last point. During old times there used to be a Vedic sadhana, right? So there are, for example, there are 3 letters, syllables in the word Ram. R, O and Mo. So R stands for Agni Bij, A stands for Surya Bij and Mo stands for Chandra Bij. And all these Vedic upasanas are very difficult to do because it demands tremendous amount of discipline. It demands tremendous amount of vairagya, detachment, etc. So it is not possible for a common man to do this. And just again a side note, without going into too much detail in the interest of time, our rishis, when they were meditating upon this, there appeared colors in front of them. Only colors first. Then when they continue contemplating and meditating on that topic, there appeared some diagrams in front of them. Then those diagrams took a particular shape. And that is our Devanagari Lipi. See how scientific our language is, Sanskrit and hence Marathi and hence all other languages which are born from Sanskrit. And because we know those colors I'm talking about, color is called Varna in Sanskrit. आणि म्हणून आपल्या देवनागरी लिपीला वर्णमाला असं म्हणतात. असं like it's not like 5 people got together and somebody says, okay, I draw this, let's call it A from today. This is A, this is E. No. They actually saw those. And slowly when they continued their meditation, those figures took the form of deities, devata. आणि म्हणून त्यांना मातृका असं म्हणतात. प्रत्येक अक्षराची एक मातृका असते आणि ध्वनी होता त्याच्याबरोबर. कारण अ चा उच्चार कसा करायचा हे अगेन नोबडी डिसाइडेड. दे हर्ड ड्युरिंग देअर मेडिटेशन. म्हणून त्याला श्रुत म्हणतात. दॅट्स वाय दिस नॉलेज इज इटर्नल. इट इज नॉट अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ अ ह्युमन माइंड. आय ऑलरेडी सेड दॅट. So they heard that dhvani and they are called Bijakshar. I had to explain this a little bit because I talked about Ra, O and Ma. These are Bijakshar, Bija Mantra. But to do that sadhana is very difficult. So our Shastrakar were so kind enough. They put this thing together and the union became Rama. And suddenly what happened? All these preconditions to do Vedic sadhana no more required. And that's why Dhaneshwar Maharaj says in Dhaneshwari, Nama japa yajna to parama na bandhu shake snanadi karma. There's not even a condition of, oh, you should be taking shower, you should be sitting in your temple, in some temple of Devghar in your house. You should be folding your legs like that. Mandi ghalun basav lagta. No. When can I chant name? Anytime. Can I be lying on the bed? Of course. Can I be sitting in Padmasana? Even better. Absolutely no condition. So such a simple sadhana has been given to us, but because it is simple, we never understood the depth, the profoundness of that, called Namasmarana. And our Sant, including the latest and greatest, our Gondolekar Maharaj. I mean, if you read the autobiography of any Sant, any saint, anybody, any pantha, they talk about different things, they talk about different methods, different upasana paddhatis and all that. But one thing everybody talk unanimously about is Namasmarana. And look at us, completely ignoring that. And unnecessarily going for all difficult things. Why? If Namasmarana is giving me the same thing, become one with Brahmarupa Rama, why unnecessarily take the difficult paths? I'm not condemning those. If anybody wants to go for it, go for it. But then be ready for even more hardship. Sweet and a simple thing given to us. Namasmarana. That is the third Rama, the Brahmarupa Rama. And once I become one with him, after that, the last point, there is no need to do chanting. But then, saints, all kind of sons like Jnaneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, they still keep chanting after becoming one with him, Jala Jnana Prapti Manto, because now they have developed so much love for him that they say, Maji Vani ata thambu shakat. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari. Kima ShreeRam Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. काय नाव असेल त्याला ज्ञानोत्तर भक्ती असं म्हणतात. It's a big name. Anyway, I think it should be clear enough for all of us the profoundness, the magnanimity of this, first of all, the Namasmaran itself, and especially this ShreeRam, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, the Trayodashakshari mantra. Trayodashakshari stands for 13. There are 13 syllables in it, and Samarth Ramdas Swami, who made this mantra very popular, and even today we do chant it. So I express this noble wish at the feet of Prabhu ShreeRam that all of us should feel like chanting his name and do it on a regular basis, and there should come a day in all of us life where we experience the true nature of Prabhu ShreeRam as well as me, because we are not separate. That's called Advaita. With that said, I offer this Chintan again at the lotus feet of Prabhu ShreeRam as well as my Sadguru, Param Pujya Dr. Kaka. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Jai Raghuveer Samartha Prabhu Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan